There is a friend in your life who is unfailingly, almost suspiciously nice. They will never roast your terrible parking. They've watched you eat the same overpriced salad 4 lunches in a row and said nothing. Meanwhile, there's the other friend, the one who tells you that you look like you slept inside a printer the second you sit down. And somehow, that's the person you would call at 4 a.m. if something went wrong. This disconnect exists because perfectly polite, script-following niceness often functions as a safe distance management tool. On the surface, it looks like care. Underneath, it can mean someone doesn't know you well enough to risk anything, or that they are simply treating the relationship as a pleasant flat surface to bounce nice things off of. While we often treat teasing as a learned cruelty from middle school, the research suggests something much older. Playful provocation isn't an attack. It's a primary biological tool we use to signal that we've actually been paying attention. Paying attention to how people poke at us reveals who is genuinely letting us in and who is keeping us at a polite arm's length. It's the difference between maintaining a friendship and actually starting one. Dacher Keltner at Berkeley defines teasing as an intentional provocation accompanied by playful off-record markers. It is 2 signals at once, a poke and a secondary signal, a smile, a wink, or a sing-song tone that tells the other person this is not an actual threat. This behavior predates human language. Researchers have documented great apes in the wild performing these exact moves. They poke siblings, grab feet, or offer a banana only to yank it away with a smug look. In humans, this shows up at around 8 months old. Before they can even walk, infants will hold out a toy and pull it back, watching their caregiver's face to see if they got the joke. They are checking, even then, to see if the connection is secure. When an adult friend never does this, it isn't necessarily a sign of moral character. It may just mean they aren't participating in the fundamental game of human connection. The actual words of a tease barely matter. What matters is whether the off-record marker is there. That secondary signal is what allows you to call your best friend a disaster and make her laugh, while a stranger saying the exact same thing makes your face go hot. But the marker only works if both people know each other well enough to read the signal. The teaser is essentially saying, I have watched you long enough to know what you can take, and I trust you to read me. This makes the tease a quiet calculation of trust. By poking at you, the other person is gambling that the relationship is resilient enough to handle a provocation without fracturing. When that gamble pays off, it confirms that both people have accurately mapped each other's emotional boundaries. You aren't just exchanging words, you're confirming that you both see the same reality. Of course, because teasing is a calculation of power, it is easy to get wrong. There are specific diagnostic signs that separate a bonding attempt from a small attack with a smile painted on. First is the presence of an audience. In private, you can fire back or roll your eyes, but in front of a third party, your brain starts doing a status calculation. If a friend saves their sharpest roasts for when others are watching, they may be using you for performance. Then there are tender spots. A safe friend knows where your genuine insecurities live and steers around them. A friend who isn't kind will reach for those spots anyway, because they know it gets a bigger reaction. Watch for the flinch, that half-second drop in a person's face where the smile goes flat and the body goes still. A safe friend sees that flinch and backs off immediately. An unsafe one keeps going, often using the phrase, "Can't you take a joke?" as a way to force you back into their frame. This is particularly dangerous when the teasing only flows in one direction. If a partner roasts you constantly but the room goes cold the second you poke back, you aren't in a partnership, you're in an audience. Over time, an imbalance like that teaches your nervous system to keep your edges tucked away. The longer you stay in a relationship where you can't push back, the smaller you have to become to fit inside it. Culture also shapes the read. Research has found that while individualistic backgrounds often interpret a tease as a threat to self-esteem, group-oriented backgrounds often read it as a confirmation of membership, a tiny ceremony that says you are part of the inner circle. If your history makes every poke feel like an attack, adult life allows you to renegotiate. Simply telling a friend you need a beat to catch the marker doesn't break the bond. In a real friendship, it strengthens it. What matters most is what happens in the 30 seconds after the tease. Affectionate teasers almost always offer a soft landing, following a sharp roast with something genuine that reinforces the connection. That specific sequence, the sharp poke followed immediately by a vulnerable pull close, is the actual mechanism that secures the relationship. The point isn't to start insulting your friends to prove you love them. It's to look more honestly at the people already in your circle. Notice who pokes at you with a smile, in private, and stops the second you flinch. That is a person who has been studying you with affection. If you have a relationship that feels suspiciously flat, you can test the depth by initiating a gentle tease yourself. Watch carefully to see if they laugh and fire back, or if they freeze up and change the subject. Once you can read those signals, you stop spending your time on the flat surfaces. You start looking for the people whose elbows have learned the shape of yours.